soul. There is a verse in your scriptures, Matthew 10:28. It says, "Fear not the one that can kill just the body. However, fear the one, okay? Be more interested in the one that could kill the body and the soul in hell." It's very interesting, the last two words, in hell. That is a very, very deep. People overlook that part. That's one of the deepest parts of the Bible. And that basically tells you that you have a jewel that can be taken away from you. That's all you have is your soul. When you go to sleep and your body's laying there, your soul creates a whole world where you have a body, you have people going around, you have an environment, you have all that shit in that world. If you never woke up in the room that you went to sleep, you have a perfect world created by your soul. Your soul creates existences and planets. That's why it's called a soul. Soul is also used for solar, the sun, and solo, being alone. So from your singular point of perspective, everything pours out like a movie projector. So all the millions of scenes and people on the movie screen comes out of a tiny camera and that projector. That's who you are. The entire universe is coming out of you. So your eyes, if you notice, when you close your eyes and you sleep and your eyes move, if you look at the eyelids, you can see the eyes moving. That means that what the eye sees is not what is outside of it. The eye is actually a feedback effect. You've been taught wrong by your scientists thinking that the eye responds to outside stimuli. No. The occidental nerves, OCC, implies vision. Ocular. You hear ocular, occult, OC. That OC implies vision, your eyes. Your occidental or ocular nerves are located at the back of your head. These nerves run down connect to your spine. Remember I told you in one of the SCA lectures that the Ankh, the true meaning of the Ankh is the junction between your shoulders, your spine, and your head. That connecting point is the pivotal point. That's what projects your reality. That's what you see when you look out. You think you're seeing something outside. Okay? You're seeing what's created by that junction. That's where your chip is. Many of you that have watched Altered Carbon, The Matrix, there's a show called Lock and Key. All these shows, they pretty much tell you that point creates worlds. It's not a secret anymore. They put that shit in front of you now. The people that want to know will know because they have to tell you. That's part of the Saturnalian law. If you want to escape karma, you have to tell the person. The person has to agree to whatever is being done. He said, ask and it shall be given. That's the only law in the universe, is that you should not violate any soul's free will. So if you dig a pit and you tell somebody that the pit is right there, and the person, after you tell them, the person agrees that the pit is there, but they walk into that pit, whatever happens to them is not your karma, is not going to affect you. We explained this concept in previous SCA lectures. Go listen to them lectures. So the soul, we've already explained to you, creates existence. Now time, we have to bring the concept of time. Remember, you can go to sleep and you live through a whole lifetime in 8 hours. Or you go to sleep and wake up and you slept 6 hours, it feels like 6 minutes. So the concept of time is relative. Time is a mental illusion based on our perception of deterioration of the body. Deteriorate. Okay? Fuck it. How much the body deteriorates and how we look at it is how we base time. But there's really no time. So this wakeful existence, or your wakeful state, the part that you walk around during the day and do shit, is a dream that's slowed down. It's no different from the shit that you experience when you in your sleep state, which is sped up. Do you slow the shit down by, say, 1 second to 10 hours? Do you get a wakeful state illusion? But you're still an illusion, nevertheless. So your soul creates these worlds. Now, your soul can be tricked into being trapped in a world that it created. The same way the human being can create a machine called a robot, and the robot could overpower the human being, even though the human being created it. You know, we are told that the Olympians are the children of the Titans, but they've defeated the Titans in a war, ground them up, and used their ashes to make a world of men. And one of the Titans, called Prometheus, felt bad that his kin, because all the Olympians was Titans too, they felt bad that they locked them up in this flesh world. So he gave them light, which is what the snake told the woman in the garden. That is an illusion. Don't buy into it. Don't perpetuate yourself in it, because you can be trapped in it longer. Which is why childbirth was the main curse of Adam and Eve. It's a scientific principle based on your existence in the illusion. So the more you perpetuate yourself, the more real it gets for you, and the harder it is to leave. The original state of the soul is what you experience in your dreams, where you could create the world, and when you're tired of that world, you could flip it like a channel. If you want a world where you have orgies every day and fuck the best motherfuckers you want to fuck, you could create that world as a soul. Only certain principles. You may not use cruelty, which is why this particular existence raised the eyebrow of the Titans, or what you would call the demons. The Titans, another name for the Titans is the demons. So they came into that world seeing that their kin was inside that world, trapped. And they represent them as dragons or snakes. That's why if you look at the ancient Egyptians, they had a fascination with putting snakes on their head gear. You know, all these ancient civilizations were fascinated by snakes. You watch Ultra Carbon and the whole concept of transferring consciousness from one body to another. In the beginning of the series, they represented with a snake and the letter 8 and the number 8. Which is immortality, eternity within a frame. You can have eternity trapped in a frame. You put two mirrors in front of each other, you look into one mirror, the reflection of the other mirror goes to infinity, but it's just two mirrors. So in a closed system, you can still have eternity. Okay? It's a dream world, exactly. But you could be trapped in this dream world with your own power and with your own ignorance of what it really is. All right? So, now, let's touch on the concept of Lucifer. As you guys know, there's a guy called Albert Pike. He's like the greatest Mason in the Western Mason culture. Okay? He has a statue in Washington, D.C., whatever. He wrote several letters. If you want to know more, go to YouTube and type the letters of Albert Pike. They're cleaning YouTube up. A lot of the very great lectures, William Mackey did a fantastic lecture on Zionism. They took that shit off. I can't find it no more. They're cleaning that shit up. Hopefully you can still find this shit. Albert Pike wrote a series of letters where he talked about the First World War, Second World War, and the Third World War before they all happened. The same way he described it in those letters, the same way those wars happened. But the most important one is the third letter, the Third War, where he talked about how they were going to use communism, the whole Islamic terrorism, and the West to crash the world. After they destroy the world, they were going to introduce people to the real God called Lucifer. Now, people read this shit, and because of their religious programming, they'll think that they're talking about a demon in hell or whatever. But this shit is science. And it has to do with their soul and their life. And they should be interested. Because once you lose your soul, it's hard to get it back. Okay? Thank you. So, what does he mean by saying they're going to introduce the world to Lucifer, the real God? Well, the name Lucifer is a scientific term. To have lucid, to be lucid. What does it mean to be lucid? Lucidity means what you can see. So when you wake up in the morning from your dream and you're walking around in your room, that's your wakeful state is Lucifer. Your lucid, conscious part of your mind is Lucifer. The light bringer. The light, it doesn't mean the light that you can see. It means visibility, tangibility, thinking that you live in a world, walking around in a world, having experiences, conscious experiences in a world, even though it's an illusion. It's called Lucifer. Another example of Lucifer is when you go to the mall and you put a virtual reality headset and you start seeing things. You're in an environment now. Everywhere you look, you see something. If you look away, there's nothing there. But once you look there, you're seeing something. So your head is a virtual reality headset. All this shit you're seeing that you think you're in the world is in your head. And your head is Lucifer. Your pineal gland is Lucifer. Your lack of control of your pineal gland is the fall. And something else is controlling your existence, is the fall. If you were able to change your reality at will, you are God, like the snake told Eve. However, if you're controlled by what's in the virtual reality headset, then you're an animal. It's just as simple as that. All right? So, Lucifer is any situation that gives you wakeful consciousness. If they was to put a chip in you right now, where the chip, if you watch Ultra Carbon, they show this shit. They'll put something in their head, all of a sudden, they appear in the environment. They could actually feel pain in that environment. The nervous system is linked to that environment because of where the chip is placed in their spine, which is at the back of their neck. So once they put a chip right there, if they inject you with like a chip, and the chip finds its way to that point, the chip could, while you sleep, put you in another reality that looks exactly like Earth. Where in the world that you thought you went to sleep in, you never wake up in that world no more. You wake up in a world that's different because it's consciousness. However, you're going to feel that it's real because the shit was connected to your spine. So when you wake up in this world, it's going to look exactly with the same program because your memory is your program. Your mama, your daddy, your brothers, sisters, all the people you know is all a memory. They could download it in a disk, kill you, and put that shit back in another body, and you open your eyes, you remember the same thing. Ain't nothing but information. So another movie is the Invasion of the Body Snatchers. They wait for them to fall asleep and they do their thing when they sleep. If you notice, everybody on earth has to sleep at some point. There's a point in this earth that the whole world sleeps. Half of the earth be asleep, the other half be woke. Right? There's a time where everybody sleeps on earth. You can't escape it. This is the window of opportunity. When they inject you with this chip, you go to sleep, you wake up, you're going to wake up in the same room with knowing the same people, but things might slightly change. You might wake up and Kobe dies. Or the Kennedy car change, where it used to be a 4-seater, now it's a 6-seater. Or shit that you know used to be different is just not the same. You can't explain how it is, how it happened. Like Jiffy peanut butter being Jif. Or certain things just is not the same. You just know it. Like, yo, you know, that shit was not like that, but in this world it is. So in situations like that, then the reality is being manipulated. So now, the Lucifer is the new world that you just woke up to. But they're doing it without telling people. There's going to come a time when the earth will be purposefully destroyed. Everything you love is already happening. There's no reason why they're going to take away people's jobs and their means to feed their families when there's nobody on the street that you see is dying. Everything still look normal. Yeah, Sparkle is called Stacks, exactly. Everything still look normal. All of a sudden, they just close everything down and tell you to be scared of some shit you can't see. It'd be different if you seen people foaming out the mouth at the gas station. You'd be like, God damn, this shit is bad. Nobody has seen nobody with their eyes. There's no footage on Facebook. You know, Facebook, everybody got a phone. If shit get bad, people are quick to upload videos and pictures of shit getting out of hand. But till today, nobody has uploaded any pictures of shit getting out of hand. You have a handful of people, old people, that's dying, but motherfuckers would have died anyway without this shit going on. So there's no emergency, visible emergency. You can't see nothing going on in your neighborhood. However, when you watch TV, they tell you it's bad, it's terrible, this, that, and the third. And some zombies is believing that shit because that's what they are, zombies, human zombies. You know, you watch Jumanji when they got into the game in Jumanji. And so everybody looked like human beings, but there's some human beings that was created by the game construct. And they can only go so far. They're programmed to do so much till they start repeating themselves. That's some of these human beings you see and you think that they real. But they're constructs of this machine that you was plugged into. They're not real people. That's why all this shit is in your New Testament, because the New Testament was actually a scientific script before it was turned to a religion. It dealt with time travel, dimensional shifts. When they tell you that let the dead bury their dead, so they make a clear distinction between, even though everybody walking around and got bodies, but still they make a distinction between the living and the dead. They call some people the elect. These words means very strong, have a strong meaning. And if you understand the structure of reality. So if you're in this virtual world, there's some people that came from a original world and is trapped, and there's some people that was made in this fake world as part of the fake world, even though we all wearing the same suit, body suit. So that's the meaning of the dead and the living in the land of the living. These are scientific concepts. All right? So the soul can be killed if you are convinced to participate in something, because like I told you, they gotta get your permission. You the one that's gonna do it, or else karma's gonna get them. You know, there's still a rule to this machine, and they understand it. So they always make you participate and agree to it. So they shut down the world for no reason, right? And now they're going to tell people, all right, well, to get back to work, you got to show you safe. Or to get back to normal life, go watch movies, and to go, you know, go to your hair salon or do little Matrix goofy shit that niggas like to do in this fake ass world that they give a fuck about so much. They say, hey man, if you want to get your life back to normal, start making money again, whatever, you got to get this shot that shows that you're safe. Well, in that shot, they're going to put the real program, the final program that's going to, you know, link you up to what they're planning. So, you know, if say everybody get this shot, right? Well, they have a new machine or new world, virtual world, that they want to move everybody into. That's different. They've been doing this shit to people. Ever since you start getting shots to go to school, your world never been the same. The history, they could change history because it's all in your mind. You could wake up in a different world with a different history and the old understanding vanish. If you read that book 1984, when the scientist was interrogating the main character, and the scientist was telling him, we make history. We could change history if we want. Go get that book 1984 and read it. George Orwell is right there too. Okay, so they've been doing this, but now there's a new world they want to put people into, and that's the real deal. That's the Lucifer. So, you know, when you get it, you wake up, then they're going to tell you, okay, well, this ain't the world. That's when Albert Pike said, then we're going to introduce them to Lucifer. So before they've been doing it, but now they're going to tell you, okay, well, you remember that earth that you were living in? Okay, well, we bombed the shit out that earth, which you see. Y'all was around, because all this shit is preparation for war, by the way. So, you know, they nuked the fuck out the earth. They used nuclear bombs to destroy the earth. They covered the sun, took all the seeds away. I mean, they just devastated. So it wasn't shit no more. You couldn't live in it no more. Then they introduced you to this new earth. They say, hey, you want to go back to that wasteland, or you want to stay in this new virtual reality, which it feels like Earth. It looks like Earth. We might fuck around and give you some perks. You live 700 years. The catch they don't tell people is that if they start fucking you up in that new earth, there's no escape. If you commit suicide, or if you take your own life thinking you're going to escape it, you're going to wake right back up in that machine. That's what it means by killing the soul. The soul, death was created as a way to escape the misery of flesh. Okay? Remember when there's a statement in Genesis where it said that God created death just in case man starts to live forever and thinks that he is God. Okay? We're at that point right now where man feels that he is God. A man is about to take away death. So there's a point in Revelations, all this shit was written, you know. There's a point in Revelations where it says that, and at that time, you have to look for this, I'm paraphrasing. At that time when things got so bad, some people even wished to die, but death was unavailable. It's in Revelations. It said they will wish for death, but death will be unavailable. All right? Hold on a second. All right. So, excuse me. So this is what it means. It means the taking away of the independence of your soul, which is the only right you have. Where now they could dictate your existence. They could keep you in that virtual existence forever. That's what it means by killing the soul. That's a phrase that was made by Christ. It said, don't be afraid of the one that could kill the body. Be afraid of the one that could kill the body and the soul in hell. They added that last part, in hell. So killing the body of the soul in hell. Hell means a virtual reality. That's what it means. So when you accept to be put in this new reality, then your independence, the right that you have to switch off if you want and appear somewhere else, is taken away from you. They basically imprison your soul. They take your soul away from you. They could put it in anybody. They could put your soul in a dog. You open your eyes, you a dog.